We will be in a second. Okay, there we go. Okay. First up, approving the minutes.
I was gonna say, before, just so you guys know, we have Trustee Daly will be here in a few minutes. He's coming from Albany. And Trustee Slack has got a family emergency, so he will not be in attendance tonight.
I read the minutes and I'll second or make a motion to approve them.
I'll second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. Okay, first up is radon testing. And I'm gonna move the webcam. Pat, you're gonna have to tell me when I have it in right now.
Okay.
We don't have a super technology budget here, so this is how we do it. All right. How's this?
It's,
no?
Oh, there. Oh, hold on. Yeah, that looks good.
Good.
So the other sitting right on the screen.
Is it on the screen?
It's on the screen.
Okay, perfect. Excellent.
I think it's legible enough. You might want to push it forward a little
Move
bit.
it forward.
Yeah.
All right, sorry.
Get closer.
About there.
Tilt it back a little bit. There, perfect.
Yeah.
Oh, that's much better.
Okay. Now, cooking with gas. Okay. All right.
Why is it a little backwards?
Oh, why is it backwards? That's not going to work.
You gotta confuse people.
I know. I don't know how to reverse the image.
I'm kind of curious as to why it is reversed.
Is it upside down or?
No, it's just reversed as in
Yeah, it's like a mirror image.
Oh my goodness, that's really weird.
Let's see. I don't want to have you guys go through all this trouble and there's Dante.
we waited for the Dante.
Oh, perfect.
Let's see.
Are you 910?
Yes, I am.
I am coming.
I don't know why this is.
Eric, what if you put the camera and focused on the computer? I don't know if that would make a difference or not. But
Okay, yeah, we can try it. Does that help at all?
no,
Still backwards. Why is it
Still
doing
backwards,
that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Hold on, let me see if I can.
Does anybody have a compact we can borrow?
Nice thing about this is it goes in our minutes and it'll be archived. And people at home can see this and actually type in questions for us.
You can always post it too.
Yeah, I think that we're gonna have to post we'll post the slides. Is that all right?
That's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
we can
now,
hook you up with
if you
that.
want to give me the camera, I will aim it at you.
Ooh, okay.
Yes.
That sounds like fun.
Right? And then,
You say that now.
all right. Now,
All right, beautiful. Well, thank you very much, Hal. Thank you very much, everybody here, for allowing us to present to you today. We're going to be talking to you about something very important. That's radon. And radon has become, we're becoming more aware about it, I should say, that it's a serious problem here in this county. And we're going to explain to you why. All right, so you're probably asking yourself, what is radon? Well, radon is an invisible, tasteless, and odorless gas that is found underground. It is formed from the breakdown of uranium in soil, rock, and water. Radon will enter your home through cracks in concrete slabs, in blocks, joints, loose fitting pipes, exposed soil, and water. Now, the EPA and the U.S. Surgeon General urge all Americans to protect their health by testing their homes, schools, and other buildings for radon. So you're probably asking yourself, where does radon come from? Well, it's pretty simple. Radon is formed from the radioactive decay of uranium. So as the uranium decays, it forms radium, and then the radium then decays and eventually becomes radon gas. Now, Cortland County is a really unique place. We are really affected by geology. Geology shapes everything that we have here in Cortland County. Cortland County has one of the largest sole source aquifers in the state. Matter of fact, that site was taken right on the Homer-Preble border. But we had the glaciers come through and they carved this whole valley and everything that is shaped here today. These are glacial deposits in Preble, New York. And so what you're looking at is two separate hillsides, and all that fill right in the middle there is all glacial deposits dropped off by the glaciers. Now, why are we concerned about these specific types of soil? Well, we're looking at large particle sizes, okay? So the larger the particle of the soil, you have the larger pore space, and that holds more of the radon gas. So how is radon levels measured? Radon is measured in picocuries per liter of air. New York State has determined that a level of 4 picocurie liters or greater is considered high. So what we're looking at here, this comes from the New York State Health Department. These are the radon levels in Cortland County. You can take a look at right in the middle of the state there. Cortland County is bright red. We have some of the highest levels in the state. And we actually have an average level of 14.4 picocuries per liter. So we have a serious problem in the county. These are radon maps. What we do is we hand out radon tests. It allows us to update our maps so we can get a better feeling for how radon is distributed through the county. What you're looking at here, you'll see various shades of brown. So the deeper the brown color, the higher the radon levels you're finding. So the really dark browns are ranging from 20 to 55 picocuries per liter. The lighter browns are 4 to 20. And remember, the breaking point is 4 picocuries per liter. So what are the health impacts and why should we be concerned? And Liz Geeson is also with the health department. She's going to be talking a little bit to you about that.
So the World Health Organization says that radon causes up to 15% of lung cancers worldwide. Based on the EPA estimates, lung cancer due to radon exposure claims 21,000 US lives. And of those estimates, 2,900 of those are people that never smoked. Radon is the #1 cause of lung cancer among non-smokers, and radon is the second leading cause of lung cancer overall. So if you look at a smoker who is also exposed to radon, they have an even higher risk of developing lung cancer, and we call this a synergistic effect. So for example, if you're someone that has never smoked, you might have 7 people out of 1,000 might develop lung cancer. If you are a smoker and exposed to radon, you're looking at this greater effect of 62 people out of 1,000 will probably develop lung cancer. So homes in Cortland County have the highest average basement and first floor readings in New York State. And Cortland County has been designated as a high radon risk area by the EPA and the New York State Department of Health. Derek mentioned that the average basement screening radon level for Cortland County is 14.44 picocuries per liter. And you will find out shortly that Homer's average is even a little bit higher than that. So we know that, what is the action level that Derek mentioned? 4.0 picocuries per liter. So we are well above that. This chart is a really excellent example of looking at some comparisons and how we put this all into perspective. So if, again, you want to keep that number in mind, at 14.44, which is Cortland County, and where we fall on the chart. So if you think about, for example, smoke detectors, how many of you have smoke detectors in your home and you're concerned about fire safety? Yeah, so if you go up high on that chart, you're going to see that the risk of developing cancer from radon exposure is 200 times the risk of dying in a fire at the time of picocuries per liter. And those are for smoker. and it's 20 times higher in non-smokers. So the risk is real for both non-smokers and smokers. So where do we fall? Again, we are at the top of the chart with risk. If you look at just going to the 20 picocuries per liter with a smoker, if you're a smoker and exposed to radon, 260 people probably getting cancer. Non-smokers, still that risk there, 36 people getting cancer at the 20 picocuries per liter. We are falling in between there. We are at the high risk. So we want to look at what this is all about, and the risk is for lung cancer. Radon is classified as a known human carcinogen. This is the consensus of scientific experts, of health authorities. We are talking about the CDC and Surgeon General, American Lung Association, all of these reputable organizations. They are all of the same mind that this is a known carcinogen, and lung cancer kills thousands of Americans every single year. Smoking and radon are the leading causes of lung cancer. Lung cancer can be treated, but it has one of the lowest survival rates. So we know that lung cancer is deadly. Where do we fall? Again, these charts, when you take all of this different information and you put it together, it really tells the story. It really connects the dots for everyone. So this came out of a Portland Counts report. If you look at national data, I'm just going to take the top line with the males, 59.6 out of 100,000, that's your incident rate. And you climb up higher and we go to New York State, yes, the levels are higher, male and female. Upstate New York, Portland County, 88.7 out of 100,000 for the male, and female 67.5 out of 100,000. So again, this is just this whole picture that it's painting for us. It is a real risk. So what do we want all of you to do? We are asking you to test your own homes. That is what we would like you to do. We'd like you to take the information from tonight, and I think this is going to give you a great just a basis for getting that information out there. Get your own homes tested. The radon is getting into your home through the cracks in your foundation, as Derek mentioned earlier. It gets up into the air. It's in the air we breathe. We spend about 90% of our time in our own homes, especially here in cold New York State. We have kits available from the health department through the Environmental Health Division and also the Healthy Neighborhoods Program. There's 2 different options. You can pick up your own kit. We have kits here tonight. And if you needed if you would prefer a staff member to come and visit you, the Healthy Neighborhoods Program also has that. It can set the kit up for you, take you through the whole process. Winter is the best time to test. Homes are closed up. The heat is on. You want to put it in the lowest living area. If you are if you're in your basement for more than 2 hours a day, it's a good idea to test on there. Otherwise, you want to test on your lowest living level, your first floor. It's the air that you're breathing in. And I'm going to give it back over to Derek. Thank you.
Thanks, Liz. Appreciate it. Nice job. So this poor guy here, he just got his radon reading, and he's found out he's got 10.2 picocuries per liter. And he's visibly upset, and he should be upset. But don't panic. There are things that can be done. A radon mitigation system. It's so simple. What it is, it's a perforated PVC pipe. It's installed below the lowest floor of the house. A long pipe and a fan are used as an exhaust to expel the radon from the home. So, and instead of it going through all the levels of the home, it just goes through that one pipe and goes right out through your roof. The fan runs constantly, so you don't ever have to worry about it. I do recommend maybe once every 5 years to have it looked at just to make sure everything is working well, but it's strongly recommended for you to do that if you have a high level. So you're probably asking yourselves, what are the costs for these? Well, they can range anywhere from $1,000 to $5,000, depending on what kind of situation you have. It's really cheap for new construction homes because you're just building the home at that point in time, so it's very easy to install. And then the more difficult installations range close to $5,000. The Cortland County Department of Health Division of Environmental Health has a list of licensed installers of radon mitigation systems available. So you have your test done, you get your results back, and you get a high reading, contact us. We can hook you up with that mitigators list. We also have some helpful information available. The one on the left, that's a really good document. That's called Building Radon Out. And it actually talks about how the radon mitigation systems work, and it gives you all the ins and outs. It's a really helpful guide. We also have a lot of information from the EPA on radon gas, and all of those are provided to you free of charge. And now, I think at this time, it's Mike's turn to talk about some of the other implications about radon.
Thank you, Derek.
Absolutely, Mike.
I'm Mike Ryan. I'm the Director of Environmental Health for the Portland County Health Department. I think Derek and Liz have kind of explained the overall program that we got going right now. We're fortunate to have funding and dollars coming in from the state so we can get these radon kits and get them out to people right now. Because the first step is really testing your home. You never really know if you have it or not until you actually test. You can't see it, you can't taste it, you can't smell it. Some odd things about radon, it's the heaviest elemental gas that there is, so that's why it always accumulates in the basement. It's also, if you like chemistry, I know some of you guys are into that, and it's also one of the noble gases, so it really doesn't chemically react with anything. So most of the soil that comes in your house, nothing's going to react it or take it out of the soil. It's just going to come in as radon. And when it does get into you, it's got kind of a multi-level effect. First of all, as it decays, first there's a little explosion every 3 days when it's radon, and then half of that's gone, exploded, and then you go to polonium and then lead and then different phases. And each time it changes, and some of these are microseconds, there's a little explosion that releases these small particles that actually, once the radon turns into the solids, this becomes even more dangerous. They're called the radon daughters. And they're next to a cell, when they explode, they throw those alpha particles out there and do damage. And over time, if you have a high enough reading, like some of these readings, 96 picocuries per liter. I guess 316 houses tested in Homer so far. The highest reading was 96.1 picocuries per liter. That's phenomenal, given that the the 4 is the mark at which the EPA said to do something, and all those numbers we're talking about, cancer rates, were based on 20. So Homer's a little higher than Cortland as an average, and there's some high readings out there. And I think the first step is really getting the information out there that it is out there and getting the public to realize. That's why we're doing a lot of the outreach and stuff that we're doing. I think you'll help for reaching out to us. And I think you wanted to know a little bit more other than, what could homeowners individually do. It's like, what could you possibly do as a town to help accelerate the process and protect other people? Not everybody is a homeowner. There are a lot of renters. And I think 32% of people in, Portland County rent. So now you've got a situation where it's not a homeowner, but somebody who's living there. And how are they protected? Are the landlords required to test under New York state law? No. Matter of fact, there's very little litigation, or not litigation, probably a lot of litigation, but there's very little regulation out there in terms of radon anywhere. We looked and found some examples. I think we forwarded some of them to you. Maine has a pretty good regulation out there. If you were looking to implement some kind of a construction standard. Radon, in a way, is a lot like electricity. It's a necessary thing to have a home, and you're going to get radon as a byproduct. Very hazardous, can kill you. Same thing with electricity. Everybody needs electricity, but you really need to have regulations on that are usually provided by code. It's like we have a little electric club when it comes to radon. In other words, there are no licensed electricians. There are no electric codes. There are only recommended standards right now. And we're trying to share those with you, but we really think that if the town was willing to go a little farther and look at codification to protect its residents, that could go a long way. And I think that it would have a great benefit also. I mean, you think about it, I think sooner or later you will see state codes on it. Being in the engineering world, you understand, you wouldn't see people going in and just saying, oh yeah, just do electric any way you want if you want to, because it can kill you. Same with radon though. So we have provided some of the main legislation. There's some from Florida, from Illinois. They're kind of all part legislations. New York has some legislation that says if you're selling a house to somebody, you're required to disclose if you don't have a radon. There's a lot of disclosure laws, but they have holes in them because people have to know they have it in order to disclose it. They're not necessarily required to always test for it. So that's kind of inhibiting people from going ahead and getting that test. What Maine has, and I think that would be the first step, would be to require testing in apartment units. And if you find it, to notify your residents that you have it there, so that they can at least be aware of it.
Right.
And move out or whatever they have to do. There's certain things in there and how you can cancel your lease and stuff. Maine started out with the idea that landlords had to both test and then to mitigate, but there's a lot of pushback, and the mitigation went away, but the testing still remains. Let me kind of try to move and wrap this up a little bit, because I think I'm taking a little bit too much time. Just long and short, there's legislation out there. We'd like to help you if you want to achieve that goal. The health department is there. We'd also like to get the word out that we have these kits. They're really easy. You put them in your house, you know what you have for a level, and the mitigation is simple, but it really should be done by a licensed contractor that knows radon. You would just like to hire an electrician. So we have a list of people. It's all voluntary right now, but we would encourage people to come to us and ask who's doing it, who's licensed and certified in it. And there's other certifications too in terms of mitigation and testing and right down the line. So long and the short, I think I would like to open it up to questions if anybody has any.
I apologize for my tardiness, but you may have already touched on it, but I believe radon is the second leading cause of lung cancer.
It is. Yes, that is one of the points. And it's an odd sort of a thing, and it probably has to do with what I was talking about before, like how it changes as each time it explodes. If it's entrained in the smoke, I think, and it gets near the vessels, because it's not just, it's 10 times. It's not just like you have radon, that's bad, and you smoke, that's bad. It's like if you have both together, it's 10 times as bad. You saw the numbers there, 15 versus 150 people getting it. And there's a reason for that too. It's all, an English sort of thing, but among non-smokers, it's a big cancer causer. Lung cancer, as you know, is one of the most awful cancers to have.
The legislation from Maine, is that state level legislation?
That was a state level legislation. Okay. I don't expect that to happen anytime real soon in New York State.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Maybe if you can push that forward, boy, you really made my job.
Well, I'm actually going to try.
Good for you. I hope you can do it. It's really important. It's one of those things.
Yeah.
Right up there with lead,
Yeah.
I would love to see that. But I think Maine, if I had a standard, you just have to replace the idea of the state regulating it with code officers. We did find 2 towns that do have at least partial for new construction in place in New York State. They're in the county of Livingston. And we reached out to those people, and we found it's done under the code enforcement officers. Requires some training, but really it's well worth it.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
I was going to talk about or ask a question about the units. So you get these units, and we call you up, and we pay you $15 or?
No, you come in and you get it for free.
Okay, free people.
Free.
Okay, so you get them free. Okay, that's good.
If you're a Cortland County resident, all right?
Yes.
You can get it.
All right, so you take this baby home.
Yeah.
And you set it up in your first floor, on a table, on the floor,
I think you're.
high up, down low?
We recommend a table, right?
I would put it on a table.
Yeah.
In your lowest living level of your house.
Yeah,
So
okay,
where-
that would be my living room,
Most
okay,
Okay,
and
or
then
if
I
you play
leave it.
pool out in the cellar, you want to have one in the cellar maybe too. 'cause it's
I
good.
already know the cellar's bad, I got
All
a
right,
dirt floor, so
Okay,
finding out what's down there, too scary.
okay. You probably have
Where I live,
electricity.
I don't go down cellar, all the stores the wine down there, and I'm down there and I'm back.
Well, wine is good.
So,
right.
that's, I hope it doesn't hurt it, but anyhow, I don't drink that much.
Well, you don't have to-
All right, but anyhow, moving on. All right, so you have it open for a week, 2 days,
No, you wanna
a
have it-
month, or,
No, you want to open it up for 2 to 3 days.
okay,
All right,
2 to 3
2
days,
to 3 days. Once the 2 to 3 days are up, you're going to reseal it.
Okay.
There's directions inside the kit
okay,
box. The kit's inside. You just reseal it back up, and then you ship it in the same envelope it came in.
okay, we send it to, it's got an address on it and
Yes.
everything, and we just put some stamps on it and away it goes?
Yeah.
It's all set
That's
up
all
to
you
go.
do.
When you come in, that's why you come in and then we'll
And
get the
this is a free
information.
service?
Just come
Wow,
down to
I
the
don't
health
know why
department.
everybody, sign me up.
All right, run down to the health department and get your kits. It's what
Okay,
they
I
look
will.
like. And it's a really easy process. It's
Nice.
designed to be easy, and we track also, we're getting numbers in every time we do this. That's what leads us to be able
The
to.
last time it was done in my house was 10 years ago.
What'd you have for a reading?
It was 14 or 16 down in the cellar and 3.4 or something like that on the first floor.
Okay, that's a good height.
But I don't know
reading.
what it is now. Well, it's like it's an 1810 house, so it's been there forever.
Okay, understood.
Okay, thank you.
Other questions, either for me or this is Catherine Fearhurst. She's the director and.
I'm
Oh,
the
oh,
radon kit presenter.
Yeah.
I'll be down.
Yeah, it'll be down.
You can get one here tonight.
Oh, good. I'll
Okay.
pick one up tonight.
Yes, ma'am.
My question was, what Ed had said, I did a radon testing in my house 20 years ago.
Okay.
How often should you be testing? I mean, like the house settles and stuff.
What did you get? Just out of curiosity. I would retest it.
If you don't remember. That's an easy one.
It wasn't, we brought the house, so it wasn't too bad, but.
I was looking at the form.
Yeah, test it first, see what you get, depending on what level you get. If you're below the 450 curies per liter, I wouldn't worry too much about it. If you're above that, depending on how high it is, you may want to have a second test just to verify that it's going to be the same data, okay? And then after that, I think it was 5 years.
5 years.
Yeah. And that should be done maybe in conjunction, if you get a radon mitigation system installed in your house, if they go and do a check, to make sure everything's working properly, that's probably a good time to do another one. You're welcome.
Just a quick question about the new construction process. I know there are mitigation systems with the PVC, but I've heard that if you put a heavy milled plastic underneath your concrete, that is a barrier from radon gas. Is that true?
It's true, it's part of the process, so you still have to have a corrugated pipe, but then a lot of the times they'll put that poly line right on the lower part of the floor.
This is a gas that permeates through just about any ways it can do. And again, it's not going to react with anything in the soil, so it's coming in as gas. It is interesting, if you're having a new house constructed, that is the time you should be talking to the builder. I've had somebody came to me and said, you know, I was worried about radon, I was going to test it, I talked to my builder, I had a system already put in, I didn't know. I didn't turn it. So, that was a nice solution.
So to reemphasize, because we don't have a lot of people here tonight, if they want to get some, it would be 60 Central Ave.
60
Yes.
Central Ave, and we are in room 120, first floor.
Okay.
Where the radon is.
Yeah. Not as bad as the basement.
Right.
We're not allowed to discuss.
Right. We'll put the information up on the village website too for everyone.
Well, that's fantastic, because really you're doing a great service for all your constituents. Thanks for having us over.
Of course.
Yes.
And thank everybody for coming. Thank you. It's a very important thing, and I'm glad that you're all taking the time to really think about this. Thank you. I'm certainly will.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for keeping me going, guys.
All right.
Moving along.
Let me, I'll get the other one set up.
You're amongst friends.
So
You really are. This should be wonderful.
it's the Homer High School Environmental Club. I met with them, I don't know how long ago it was, some time ago. I was incredibly impressed. And as you guys know, we are in the middle of working on our Climate Smart Community certification, which they are very interested in. And they're going to be helping us out by being on our panel for that.
Oh, good.
And additionally, SUNY ESF contacted us to do a greenhouse gas study here to basically quantify all of our greenhouse emissions with their students. And so they're going to be coming down and working with, so the ESF kids will come down and work with these guys together on that project. So we're having a meeting a week from Friday, I believe it is.
Don't
Start
forget to
talking
leave
about
one of
that.
those for me.
You got to fill out a form.
There's a form.
All right, I'll go down.
It's just got to fill out your name, address, phone number, man.
And we will.
They're throwing me off here. huh?
What happened there, Pat?
Well, they gave me a new one, so I've got a.
If not, that's fine.
No, we started.
I got to get a new IT guy.
Well, we're fiddling around with that. We can introduce ourselves. Like Mayor McKee mentioned, we're the Homer Green Team. I'm Andrew Feigenheim.
I'm Becky Kim. I'm Rachel Fallon.
I'm Andy Anderson.
And I'm Shaniqua Berry.
So we got a mix of age ranges here. We have 2 seniors, 2 sophomores, and I'm a junior. So we're here to share with you some of the things that we've been working on in the past few years. And also to kind of talk about some of the things we'd love to help with the Climate Smart Communities program as well. Oh, perfect. Thank you.
Can I interrupt for one second? Your father named Greg?
Uncle.
Uncle, okay, I went to high school with him.
There you go. Perfect.
Right click to go forward, if you go back, right click previous.
I already forgot those instructions, so I hope they remember.
So starting about 4 years ago, we went to our first climate summit, and that's where we really started taking action in our school. So we went to the Adirondack Climate Summit, and we've done this the past 4 years, and we've gotten 3 mini grants. There's some pictures. And then 2 years ago, we had our own climate summit. So we helped with presenting, we taught people how to make a climate action plan, helped with the process.
So we had our first one in 2017, the fall of 2017, and our second one in the fall of this year as well. And then I think the picture on the bottom is everybody that came to this year's, and the top one is the environmental club members that helped start the first years. So we have a few different master teachers that are here with us as well, and our advisors, Mr. Graves and Ms. Kraus. So that summit is with, in conjunction with the master teachers entity.
We were also asked last spring to go speak at the Western New York Climate Summit. So we talked about how to make a climate action plan and how to implement one, and basically just gave some advice about our process. We also, this fall, we went to the Finger Lakes to present, and over the summer, we presented at the Master Teachers Conference on our club and climate action.
So it's really cool for us because we've been able to present and help hundreds of students from across the state help work on the same type of programs that we've learned from the environmental program at the Adirondacks. So it's cool to be able to spread that knowledge that we've gained with other people as well.
So this is one of our various projects that we've done. It's a water bottle filling station. So we started by paying for the first one, and the district paid for an additional 3 at the high school and several others in the different buildings. And so these stations make it a lot more convenient for us students when we have to fill our water bottles, because you just put it right under the sensor and it fills. And this really helps prove the point that using reusable water bottles is a lot more efficient, and it shows you exactly how much plastic you have saved on each filling station by using it.
Yeah, and with this, we're actually in the process right now of creating a fundraiser for a club and also to help like promote the water bottle filling station by having a water bottle sale. So we're going to be selling our own personalized water bottles.
That is awesome. I know that Trustee Clune needs one. I noticed I have my refillable. Look at these guys. I don't know.
One of our other big projects that we have done is make a garden. We built it in the summer of 2017, and then last spring we were able to start growing stuff. We're trying to implement the stuff that we grow into our school lunches and into our cafeteria. Many of our classes in the school have been able to work with the garden, especially our special ed class. That has given them lots of opportunities. We have been just giving the produce that we get into our community, and we brought it to some food pantries this summer.
Awesome.
So there's a few pictures of us building it, testing out a few types of lettuce, and then the tomatoes exploded this summer. It was crazy. Like you had to peel them back and try to grab the tomatoes inside.
Along with the garden, this fall we actually built a greenhouse. The Environmental Club paired with Future Farmers of America to actually get this. And this is going to help us because we'll be able to start our plants sooner, allowing us to actually be able to use it more in our school and also just to get a head start.
There are a few pictures. Greenhouse right next to the garden. We also have a big tank that we use to help water things, so it's a little bit more accessible. And we have a composting unit there, although we don't do much on-site composting. That's more of a demonstration piece. There's actually a local farm that comes and collect the compost that we produce from the cafeteria. So that way we don't have to process it, but it's still being used. And last school year, we also installed a solar charging station in our library. So this was a really fun project because we were able to work with a former Homer graduate, Chad Sopp, who started his own company in the area, Dragon Solar, to make this station. So we have 2 panels that are on the roof of our library that come down into some equipment in the supply room. And then the electricity is sent to the other side on a counter where students can plug in their Chromebooks, phones, other laptops. And that's what it looks like. So the only part of it that's accessible to students is obviously the outlets themselves. We also have a few informational posters for them to look at so they can see kind of like a broad overview of what solar energy is. But also if they're taking engineering classes, they can look at the technical schematic and look at that. Or we also have a tablet on there from the tech department that shows the energy output from the system each day. So building on this project, we've also received 2 grants to work on another solar project this school year that we're very excited about. So all these different projects and speaking events have really helped adjust us to writing grants and action plans and kind of the bureaucracy, if you will, that is very much a part of Climate Smart Communities. So we see that as somewhere that we can help fit in. As we're taking a look at some of the different actions we could participate in, we saw the task force, and that would be a great way to get involved at the community level. We also saw writing government and community climate action plans, which is perfect because each one of these projects we had to write a climate action plan in order to get funding for it. And on the back, there's also one that's talking about hosting climate-related educational seminars, workshops, conferences, or fairs. So we were even wondering if the Youth Climate Summit that we sponsored would be able to fit into that action as well. So we're really excited about those different things. And the greenhouse gas inventory that you mentioned. We also had a Zoom call with one of our friends at the Wild Center, who is on the Climate Smart Communities Task Force for Saranac Lake. So she had some fun things to share about the work that they're doing there and how we might be able to get involved in Homer as well. So.
Excellent.
Excellent.
We are very excited to have them helping us. It's breathing some new energy into that because it's a little daunting when you look at that list of, I don't even know how many items are on there. So, yeah, so we're going to meet with the ESF folks soon, and then we also just have to sort of sit down and they have done a draft press release. So we're going to put it out to look for some more community members to be on the task force. So I'll share that with you guys before we send it out. And so we'll put that out soon.
Awesome.
And then we'll have our first meeting and start talking about what we're going to do.
That's great.
Excellent.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Thank you, guys. That was excellent.
Yeah, of course.
Excellent
Thank you for the
presentation.
Go to RIT.
All right. Thank you.
Well, thank you very
Thank
much.
you very much. Move the camera back. You're going to have to tell me when I get it right.
I was just thinking, I was wondering if there was a switch there that reversed the, I was wondering if there's a switch on the camera itself that.
Oh, that changes which way it. That's a project for another time.
Yeah.
There may be. Dizzy here. It's pretty close, I guess. Don't really have everybody though.
You want to turn off the blue screen?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Tim, you need to move down a little bit more. You're fine, Tim.
You're in.
Okie dokie.
Yeah.
So Casey will not physically be here, but he is available by phone if we have to ask some questions. Something happened with his child that he was not able to be here tonight.
Okay.
But I did have some good news. I could report about it.
Please report about it.
All right, thank you. So this is what you told me.
All right.
It's the status of our LED light project. We're trying to find out here.
Okay. So he says we have officially just been assigned to the streetlight project to the city of Syracuse bid. So that means that we are moving ahead.
That's huge.
So we're tied in with them now? Okay.
That means we're going to get much better rates on everything.
The town of Homer and the town of Portlandville are on this as well, it sounds like.
Oh,
I asked him about Truxton. He did not have anything as far as Truxton, but we should be getting some more information soon. And Guth DeConzo will be the contractor assigned, and we're looking at early March for a design kickoff.
awesome.
So
That's great. Well, I didn't, that Cortlandville must have completely changed their tune then because they
Right.
weren't going to do that. So that's
what I
great.
thought too. So I thought that was good, even though he couldn't be here.
Hey, that's all we're looking for is,
Exactly.
are we
So-
still on schedule?
We're still in motion.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Very good. And you guys don't have to feel like you have to stay for all of this. You're welcome to, but it can get a little boring. It can get a little tedious.
So this LED project is something that we're trying to do as a village to change all of our street lighting over to LED and save a ton of money as well as being good for the environment as well.
And they will have the ability soon, it has to still be negotiated, to decrease the amount of energy. So from 2 a.m. to 4 a.m. or whatever they decide, when usage is low, you can dim the lights so that they use less energy. Right now, that's not allowed in New York.
Right.
But they're going to hopefully be changing that law. That's something that's people want, obviously. All right, let's see. What do we got next? Fred,
not here.
well, we put Fred on, but I forgot he's in Florida. So moving along to the treasurer's report.
I think in your packet is after all of the other reports.
Let's see. All right. I have.
So there's a summary map.
Look at this summary. So insurance is just gonna pay for a brand new blower.
They're planning for a brand new blower minus a $500 deductible.
Okay.
We thought it was 1,000, but they came back with it was only 500.
Well, that's good news. Very good.
Make a motion to approve the treasurer's report and pay the bills.
Second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. Okay.
So Tammy, at the, when we close out the year, we'll be able to do a year-end closeout.
Yep, it will be in April.
Okay.
So we start closing in February, but because more bills come in.
Right.
So at the April organizational, we'll have a tentative and then a final one at the end of April with the AUD.
Okay. And we can do that in a general chart so we can show all the residents. Okay.
All right. All right, next up, reports, we have codes. Let's see here. Hold on a second.
We keep
Lot of
saying it,
paper.
but I love the way this is printed out. By the way, any of you could read these on the webpage, on our webpage. I did today. You can look at it. It's been- I'll make a motion to approve the codes report.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
No,
Oh.
let's go ahead. Aye.
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 We want to mention the Pine Street and the sidewalk in front of 23 South Main.
Mention away.
All right, well, they're doing work on 23 South Main. They're going to be putting up scaffolding. So it is going to close down part of Pine Street in between the Key Bank and 23 South Main. So the access will be through the Key Bank, between the Key Bank and the library to get around, and you can access the municipal parking lot back on the other side from Wall Street and through. Did they say how long that was going to take? 2 weeks, they think?
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
It started today.
All right. Yeah, I didn't see the scaffolding up yet, but
Yeah, it was closed today.
yeah. Okay, so 2 weeks. Everybody seen the money kit? That was all.
All right. So just because it's next in order, we'll go to dog report. Looks like we had a few.
I saw that they got some money to help their shelter out a little bit.
Yeah.
We had a grant, yeah.
That was good.
Yeah, that's it.
All right.
I'll make a motion to accept the dog report as submitted.
I will second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. Okay, DPW. I saw that the Ventrec is
Capped up.
almost done, right? I think we should have it back tomorrow, I believe. So that's why the sidewalk plowing is still a little bit behind. But course, the timing of, we had nothing, and then the cab comes in and then the storm comes.
Yeah.
But we'll have it.
People are still
Yeah.
responsible for cleaning their sidewalks.
No, I
If
know.
we are. And we went around with Nick Casterline, Tanya and I, and we did an inventory of most of the vehicles. I don't think we missed any. Not that I could see any on the list.
We found all of them.
That's what I thought. So we did that.
A lot more than you realize, isn't there?
Oh, there's a ton of vehicles and there's a lot of money there. And they all, thankfully, you guys keep them washed and painted and looking pretty darn good. I know some of them are pretty old, but they look good. So thank you for all the guys that do that work. And I did have a good time riding around with the guys in the plow truck. So I didn't put it in the paper. I'm going to be riding with one of the chief's guys here pretty quick. They said I could ride in the front versus the back like usual.
Well, you can't get out. They put you in the back, I can't get out.
I'm gonna slip them a little extra money to tase you.
I'm looking forward. I'm sure there's other people in the village who would like to see that. That may be one.
Could be a fundraiser.
Right. It could be a fun there.
Instead of the dunk
Way
tank.
better than a dunk tank.
Taste tank. I love
Yep.
you guys.
Mike, I saw that you guys were replacing some of our older signs, like the zoning and the no parking signs, and that looks, it makes a difference.
Getting brown on the signs. Very good.
I make a motion that we accept the report as written.
I'll second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. Okay. Farmers market.
See, that's starting up. I guess it's not too early.
Never
Let me
too
ask the
early.
Farmer here. Am I supposed to start my seeds from my tomato plants now?
I'd like to be clear that I'm not a farmer.
Yeah, but you know them. Okay, never
If you
mind.
have a place to start the seeds, you can, like the greenhouse that the Marty School has now, you can start in that, and that'll get your season going earlier.
All right, well,
Like Dave Veggies, he has
okay.
greenhouses, so he's able to have actual.
I got a
production.
heated workshop where I make my wooden boats and stuff, so I use a window, so I have that. But I wasn't sure.
How
when I
about
was-
you try it and let me know?
You know, I have some heirloom tomato plants that my father got from some Italians that came over from Italy in 1935. And we've been growing this Roma tomato plants since 30.
So what you're saying is you're gonna be a vendor this
I
year?
was just
Yeah.
thinking that.
No, I mean,
Sell 'em.
Why not?
no, they're heirlooms, but I mean,
Were you under contract that you can't sell them?
no, I can sell them.
He's got a non-disclosure
agreement. I have plenty of seeds if anybody would like some. They last 10 years and you just put them in an envelope. And I always plant my 10-year-old seeds and they always come up.
Well, that's good.
So I save seeds every year. So. And anyhow, if anybody wants some authentic from Italy, Romas, they get to be pretty big like that. And they're very meaty. All right, see me. All right, I'll make a motion to accept the report as written.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Unanimous. Okay. Market Fire Department. Malin is, let's see.
You had asked us a couple questions earlier, the plan of 17 total.
Okay, thank you.
It's not an EMT, it's paramedics, it's other various levels of medical people.
Okay, and they're all active?
Yes.
Thanks, Mike.
And for people who complain about the horn, I was coming through Bainbridge today and I stopped to get a soda and there's one off and it went for like a minute straight of just constant siren. I mean, it was deafening. So I think we're not too bad. It was something else. I couldn't believe. I was like, well, this is getting the attention. All right.
You ever thought about changing that code on the fire?
What's that?
The code, because right now it does the 3 and says come to the firehouse. That was the old codes.
That was some of the old codes. Yeah, the only signal we use now is the 6.
Right.
Yeah.
That's all we use now. I mean, a long time ago, there was all kinds of codes for.
For each street, I know. Yeah, I was reading the sign there. It's kind of cool.
The 6 is just the standard one we use now.
Mike, do we have very much activity during the storm when we had?
We did not. It was very, very quiet. Incidentally, there was 4 people at the station that stayed through that storm.
Okay.
So there was people there.
Thank you to them.
Yeah, thank you to them.
I make a motion to accept the fire department's report as written.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. All right. Got Cody's report here. To the senior center. Pretty standard.
Speaking of senior center, we probably ought to do one of those radon things down here, right?
It's a Fred thing.
Yeah, it's a Fred thing here.
And a county, Frederick County.
Right.
There you go. There you go. Yeah, if you're listening.
We'll mention it to Fred next time we see it.
Yeah.
All
All right.
I make a motion that we accept the fire inspection report.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. Okay.
I will second that motion.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All right, unanimous. Let's see. Recreation, I don't see Zach.
I'm gonna need to add a couple things.
Oh, on the fly. Here we go. What do you got?
We started to plan the concert series.
Good.
We have a couple bands booked. He's working with Chris Merkley again to get some bands. So should have a good lineup next summer as well.
Has he been in touch with Ed? Ed's learning the bass, right?
I'm only on page 5 of the book, though.
That's
We'll see how you progress.
Well,
Maybe we'll
I
get
need
that
help.
list.
If everybody wants to start a band, I'm on page 5.
Send us a demo. We'll see what we can do. Also, you're starting to set up the March basketball tournament.
Oh, okay, good.
I think that's all.
It's interesting that the Homer girls are kicking butt. They have to go down to Binghamton to be competitive because their teams are stopping to play them because they're getting killed by them.
Yeah.
So, wow, that's good for them, but bad for the the sport. Everybody wants to play, Well, we got some good coaches, obviously.
For those that are interested with the T-ball, Zach's coordinating with Little League to get registration set up. So as soon as we'll have that out.
Make a motion to accept the report.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. Okay. For billing. Looks like it's going pretty smoothly now.
Well, it is. and I-
You say that? Why do you say it that way?
I say it that way because I'm wondering if you still want me to be making
No, I think,
the reports for the board meeting.
I think,
Because it's just like,
yeah,
everything's going all right.
I think we're pretty good now.
Now,
We do.
Because as soon as you
If you want to hear from me, that's fine.
As soon
Can
as you
I-
stop.
We're going to add it to the treasurer's.
That's
report.
fine, yeah.
Yeah.
But I,
Now that I'm not messing up.
can can I say this?
Okay.
And I don't know how you found it. She found another billing error, significant,
Really?
where we had been underbilling the town of Cortlandville by about $40,000 a year.
Really?
Like that?
Wow.
32. It should have been billed at 40, but it was a 32,000 difference.
So $32,000 shortfall. What had happened is we had a formula that was based on the original amount of sewer line that they had coming into the village. And then which was around 3,000 feet
1991.
in 1991. And then by 1998, it was up to 19,000 feet, something like that. And the contract and the formula were never changed. So we've been billing incorrectly since 98.
Oh, man.
Right.
Poor
But
people.
she found it and they came down. We had a meeting and they said, yep, we'll start paying you they pay what we bill them. And so we'll change the formula now, but that's a pretty significant error that she found. And
That'll help put it into the reserves to
Yes.
replace our pipes and
Yep.
stuff, so it's a good thing.
It was changed for the last billing already.
Excellent.
Right after they left, it was sent that day.
excellent.
Great. Thank you. Wow.
Yeah,
Keep-
that's
keep that up.
tremendous.
It was a very productive meeting. It was a great catch by Kristen
Mhm.
and the town of Cortlandville cooperative.
Yep.
A great sense of two municipalities working together.
Yep.
I make a motion that we accept the water billing report.
Second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. Okay. Water and sewer. I don't see anyone from Goza Shop.
He couldn't come tonight.
That's all right.
I do know they're looking for a leak someplace in the village.
Oh, are they?
Yeah. So when we were doing the inventory, you could see where it was like 400, 375, 425, and then now all of a sudden it's up at 500. So there's a 100,000 gallon leak. It's better than the 8 that it used
Yeah.
to be before we fixed the one under 281.
Sure. Still a decent amount of leak.
But there's a leak
They
someplace.
fixed one Thursday or Friday that they found.
Oh,
He
good.
was
Yeah.
looking for
Is
it.
that the one on North Main?
I don't remember.
He said there was one on North Main that they were waiting for until the weather got a little bit better because they didn't want to rip somebody's driveway
It's
up.
probably that.
Okay.
So hopefully if we found that, that'd be good. That's a significant, it's a 70 horsepower motor that runs. So if you can knock off 300,000 gallons, it pumps 900 gallons a minute. You can do the math. It saves quite a bit of money.
We
We
have-
have a motion to accept the water and the sewer report as written.
I'll second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okey dokey. All those are done. Privilege of the floor. Okey dokey. Old business.
Typed in any messages on the
Hmm?
YouTube or anything?
I don't think so.
Keep asking.
You've been looking? Okay. Ready? New business. First thing is approval of the appointment of Ken Ford to full-time laborer. He's
He
gonna,
would work in the cemetery from April 1st to November 15th. November 16th to March 31st, he would be in the streets department. Then he would get full-time benefits.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
discussion? All in
I
favor?
think this is a great thing.
Yeah.
For him and for us.
I met him
Yeah.
when we were doing the plowing. That
Yep.
seemed to be a great guy.
He is a great guy and this works out great. And, he's doing a second shift for focusing on snow removal.
Glad we can utilize him.
Yeah, yep. All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. All right, approval of the amendments to the village cash policy.
There's just some additional information and things that were included.
Okay,
We also, at this point, detailed out some of the billings of taxes, the SRO billings, the trash removal, in case there's ever any changes or someone's not here that day, we know how to do it. Court officer billing, AP process is in here that wasn't in everything. Along
great.
with voided checks and how we are not allowing any checks payable to cash.
This is very comprehensive and awesome.
We still will always have some others, billings as we have others that we bill out for, so
Sure.
they'll just be added, that's why you see the numbers skipped here and there. And there's a little bit more that we're going to do for, water and sewer.
make a motion to accept the report as written.
Changes, it's changes to the policy. Yep.
I'll second that.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous? All right, approval of the employee reimbursement policy.
So this is a total new policy based on the New York State standards for government and the regulation and monitoring of public funds. So it ended up being a little more detailed than I thought because I downloaded the book, which requires everything to be in there of a pre-approval process for training and going to seminars, along with a detail of overnight expenditures. The state requires, OSC requires a detailed listing of allowable costs, unallowable costs, the procedures for reimbursement, who's responsible, and the review of the policy. So all of those are in here. The unallowable are pretty standard.
Sure, I saw that, yeah. So are we doing a per diem flat amount for
No.
reimbursement for meals?
No, they do
No.
receipts.
Still receipts, but just so there's a limit.
Right.
Got it.
So one of the requirements is to know what the max is, and what we've always used is the per diem rate. So
Okay.
it's a max.
So that's for the lodging and meals as well?
Right, so what would happen is you get reimbursed actual, but if, say you go to Saratoga, we would look up what the max is and then say that.
And how do you do that?
There's
It's
a,
on the website.
yeah, there's a
It's
website,
it's a
yeah.
government, GSA, I think.
Yeah,
So, and that way you know before going how much the limit is.
Yep.
The honest truth is it's public dollars, so the
Mhm.
government wants everybody to be cognizant of that, so that's all it is.
we, yeah,
We don't do any of the unallowable costs, however,
Right.
the policy, according to the OSC handbooks, was stating that they need
Right.
detail.
got it.
So I've never seen an issue, and if there is ever, we would obviously talk to the person.
Okay, very good.
I make a motion that we accept the approval of the an employee reimbursement policy.
I'll second that.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous? All right. Approval of amendments to the village vehicle use and claims policy.
This is also a new policy. There was again, a real slight one in the handbook, and again, OSC requires a lot more. So in reality, even though there was a small one, this is all new. Again, it's everything we do generally where the claims are held. Everything is reported in our office. We file the claims. That's what we've been doing. The only difference in here is something, we don't allow smoking in the vehicles on it. So that's the only real addition. This policy also details like to drive, how you do have to maintain the right licenses, turn that in as requested.
Right.
And it's just more of a detailed understanding. And that you can't use the vehicles for personal use.
And you're gonna publish this so everybody that drives vehicles can.
Every
read
one
all
of
this?
these will be sent to the department heads tomorrow, everything
Okay.
that we approve.
Okay. Yeah, because the worst thing would be is they didn't know. All right.
Exactly. Then it goes out, all of the policies after we review them, I send them out. I usually copy Hal and Pat.
Okay, good.
Make a motion to accept the new vehicle use policy for the village?
Second?
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous? Okay. All right. Page 2. All right, approval for the RFPs for tree removal and pruning, acquisition and planting. So Mike, you worked on this, right?
There's 3 RFPs, one for tree removal and trimming and stump removal, then one for acquisition and one for planting.
Okay.
Someone you can bid on one or all 3.
Did you include the tree purchase?
Yep, that's the acquisition one. Yeah, sorry. That's the acquisition one. So that's number 2. And then there's third one is the planting. So they're almost the exact RFP except tailored specific, whether it's tree removal, acquisition, or planting. These would all be released tomorrow.
Okay.
And the deadline would be March 12th, so that we would have these at the board meeting next month.
Perfect.
I'll make a motion that we issue the RFPs.
I'll second.
Hold on one second. I just want to make sure qualifications, there we go.
The qualifications, that's somewhere, I know what you're talking about, the electric lines.
Yeah.
Page 3.
I saw the.
Yeah, it's right here. Bidders must be certified to
Oh.
work around / with power lines.
Oh, okay.
I
There you
was
go.
looking under conditions of work.
There you go.
I put it under qualifications of bidders.
So we had a second.
Yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. Okay. Approval of a Williamson Law Book Fixed Asset and Street Department Program. Purchase with training not to exceed $7,000. This is going to be incredibly helpful software for us to keep track of all of our assets.
Oh, yeah, I remember this.
Yeah, this is a great program. It's going to make life a lot easier for everyone. And as well as making sure that we stay in compliance.
Do we need to make a motion on this?
We do.
I make a motion to accept the Williamson proposal.
I'll second.
Discussion?
Mike, you're good with
Yes, I am.
okay.
Yes, I am.
All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. Okay. Approval of the bond anticipation note renewal.
So there's no.
No paper, that's fine.
because,
We just have to do
We're
it.
still in the process of we're working with fiscal advisors to renew our BAN, and that is due March 6th. So it's set, as long
Right.
as approval is here, it's set to go out to bid tomorrow.
And this is what we need to do for the sewer project, which we're going to be having a meeting on to talk about the next steps there, because there's some question on whether or not we should do some additional imaging versus some getting started, because I think that there's you can't go back for 5 years, I think, and ask for funding after the project. And so I think that we'll have to have a meeting about that.
Okay.
So we'll bring Barton and Agudas down to talk us through what the options are.
Okay.
I was against it. You know, I wanted some action. I wanted some things to get done, but I think after hearing their points that we need to take a real look at it.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right.
Okay.
All right.
So Tanya, you just need an approval of the bond anticipation note renewal.
Yeah, and let me talk about all of them for the next one too. With it, you can do the approvals together.
Okay.
So what happens, we have to get an approval for a renewal. So then it goes out for bid. And in the meantime, even if First National Bank of Dryden wins it, who is the current holder, we have to transfer the money for the first bond to pay it off to renew it, which will happen before the next board meeting. So it's 408,800 in here. You'll see we have to transfer that. So along with getting the approval of the renewal, we need approval to pay the old one, and then they'll put the money back in our account. So it's kind of a two-sided motion.
Okay.
Because either way, we owe the money in. If
Sure.
we don't pay it, we might not be in compliance, even if they renew it. They can't
Right.
just put it in. So I need a motion for both.
I'll make a motion that we approve of a bond anticipation note renewal, as well as the authorization to settle the initial bond anticipation note with First National Bank of Dryden for $408,800.
I'll second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. All right, the next one, we're going to table the market survey study.
Well, no, we have to vote on having that.
Yeah, we have to table it
Okay,
for till next month. I'll tell you, it's,
that's fine.
we don't have the proposal yet from them. And I don't know that we will have it from that one vendor, so. All right. The next one is back to you, treasurer.
Okay, so there's a sheet in your packet next. It's an Excel sheet that looks like this. So, the first one. Yeah, you'll see the first ones at First National Bank are basically either a dormant account or zero balances that have been inactive for a year. So the motion would be to close them because they're never going to be used again. They're for old grants and there's no purpose. The bottom ones are the transfers from Tompkins Trust. So what happened is there's funds still sitting over there, so it's split and we pay everything out of Dryden. So we have to move the funds back over. And you'll see on the right side, whatever the account is, this is where the funds would be going.
I see we've got, like in the top part, block grant map, $1.82.
Yeah.
Don't we have a current block grant?
We
per
do, but
map?
that's why we have to close this account. It's considered dormant, so they're gonna close it on us anyway.
Okay.
So if we want the $1.82, which is public dollars, so we want to protect, we have to go in and close it, or it's going to the state.
So where's our current, we haven't,
This is just the ones we want to close. If we go back to that treasurer's report, I could probably show you the other, but we have another account for the map, the current map
okay,
grant.
that's what I
It's-
wanted to make
yeah.
sure that. Now,
We're
can we-
not,
Can we
yeah,
transfer that over into that?
well,
That $1.82?
that actually, it would go into the CDBG one.
Okay.
Because that, if we mix it in there, we can't mix that grant with anything.
Okay,
So, and that's why each of these, like you'll see the CDBG funds we have to go to a specific community development one.
okay.
It can't go into the other one. And then we have a special reserves, which we maintain. The larger portion is in Dryden. The rest, it would just go into it. You'll see there's a general fund that's over there. It's a large amount that would go into the general fund at Dryden. Same as the Newton Waterworks has a significant amount there. And TNA has some funds. So they just come over to the same amount in Dryden. So all the bank recs are done together anyway.
And that would close us out of Tompkins?
If this is approved, we may want somebody to call over there first, just to talk to them and let them know.
Sounds like a good job for the mayor.
It does.
I
Never
make,
know, we may have to go back someday.
I make a
Exactly.
motion
Burn bridges.
to authorize to close and open the bank accounts per the village treasurer as laid out.
I will second that.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous, okay. We've got some budget adjustments.
The next 2 pages in your packet, the last 2, are the budget adjustments. Basically, it's just based on the activity as we've already talked about before, where the sales tax revenue might be a little low, but something else comes in a little high, and it just balances everything. The top one is the general fund, the bottom one is the water fund.
So we were short on our sales tax revenue.
I kind of guessed that was gonna happen
Mhm.
over
And
the
when
county.
Yeah, and when we projected out last year's, the number that we used is, and that we were thinking that this year's would come out, is we were actually 2,000 over. So at first the budget was 700,000, but then when we were looking at it based on what we received, we thought 666, we got 668.
Right.
So we've been kind of planning for this, and then we had to wait for the actual numbers to come in to make some of these changes.
Next year won't be so good.
It's gonna get worse and worse.
Alrighty.
We will have a couple next month, of course, especially as we start coming into the close of the months.
Sure.
Of the year. So.
I make a motion that we authorize to execute the budget adjustments as laid out by the village treasurer.
I'll second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous, okay.
Nothing's out of line there.
Nope.
Recipients from the Homer Police Department Awards. I don't have the.
I don't have all the names, but I have pictures.
We'll put it up on the website.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Congratulations to all those recipients.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well deserved.
Quite
all of
a
them.
good crew there. Yeah, DA, the judge here, Foley, principals from the high school. Yeah, at least I wasn't in front of the judge. I sat next to him knowing, checking on me, made sure I was a good
Can't
boy.
get in line.
Want to make sure I was doing my right thing. All right.
All right. Is Michael Rogers here? He has to be on the agenda to discuss this. No? Okay. Then we will move along. Dante, do you have anything for us?
No, Chief, are we all set with the agreement you wanted to go over with?
Yeah, it's been sent back to Liberty Resources. They're gonna look at it. I don't think there's gonna be any issues. We'll get it signed.
Okay, great. And then Kristen, about the water contract we went over, are you guys gonna be just amending it with a new linear feet, or are you gonna?
We'll probably, yeah, do the amendment that you had said, the extra page, and we'll just have.
Okay. And did you guys talk about timeline or how long?
No, we haven't discussed any of that.
Yeah, the original agreement sunsetted in 5 years and actually expired on its terms. I didn't know if you guys wanted to think about how long you wanted to use this one for. Maybe think about including some sort of provision where every 2 years or something you measure the linear feet and adjust it, because I don't know how often height gets added.
Yeah.
But you should probably.
That's a good idea.
Some sort of time period.
That's a good idea.
What are we talking about here?
The water department,
Could
or
you
the
put a
sewer
provision
building.
in That they have to notify us if we're
With
gonna add linear feet
Because
to
the
it?
contract.
Yeah,
Oh,
that
so
seems a
old
little
it needs to be-
cumbersome.
Well, I mean,
maybe.
that would give us the red
Or,
flag to say,
or
oh, we
yearly,
gotta add.
maybe.
You know what I mean?
They do like a yearly report. Yeah, I don't know. Or you could sunset every year and just, I don't know how best to do it, but some sort of mechanism where.
I just want to put in some sort of provision so it just sets off a red flag for us to look at that.
So it doesn't go another 20 years
Yeah.
without
Yeah.
plus.
Yep.
Well, we could add that into where we were talking about the water and sewer billings, a procedure that we were gonna add more. We can add that in where the contract is reviewed.
Yeah,
right
just
into
yearly
there.
maybe would probably be
Review the following
Yeah.
contracts
Yeah.
yearly.
sufficient.
And make a note for, additional
Yeah,
language or something.
Yeah, request NA.
Yeah, if there is any, make that as part of the note of the thing. Yeah, that makes sense. Wow, man, we've been digging the
Hey,
poor
what an
people in
incredible
the
find, though.
village. What a great find,
Yeah.
but still, man, here we are, 20 years later, still, Well, that means we probably shouldn't have any water rates
That's all you got?
increases.
That's all I got.
That's for sure.
All right.
Sewer,
Sewer.
yeah, sewer, yeah, well.
Comments by the board members,
Mine was with Casey. That
which is
the-
great news.
Yep.
Finkelbender?
I was.
That's what Shelley calls you, by the way. Just so you know.
A lot of people call me Fink, but that's okay. Should I bring it up for asking the public for committee members?
Oh, for the sports? Sure.
Do you want to do it or do you want me to?
Yeah.
People, we're looking for.
People of Homer.
I don't want to be a pompous ass, but the people of Homer, please, we're looking for like 5 people to be on a committee. It's okay to say no about things, but the other side of being a person that would say no is that you got to come up with some alternatives. We're looking to find projects that'll earn some money for the village, because we're going to be stressed very hard with the county taking more and more sales tax money away. And we don't want to be charging extra taxes for services or deleting services, which is painful. So we're looking for options. And so maybe updating our comprehensive plan, which is 10 years, almost 10 years old now. And maybe the sports complex, maybe there's some things that are good about it, some things bad. We'd like to have people come talk to us and get a committee. I would like to be on it. I know I've personally asked John Hartsock to be on it, but that doesn't mean anything because the mayor's got to approve anybody. But we're looking for, like, say, 5 people to make it kind of small, but you want to do something active for the community. So please call the mayor's office, sign up. We probably won't throw anybody off, believe me. Thank you.
Good job. Anything else you have, Ed?
No, that was it, basically.
Yeah, all right, very good.
And the chief says I could ride up front, like I said, when I go ride with the cop in a couple weeks.
Yeah, he's gonna have to take you in the Explorer. You won't fit in the. Yeah, you won't fit in the.
It's pretty tight in there.
Yeah, well, at least they're not gonna strap me over the hood.
Deputy Mayor, what do you have?
All right.
Got stuff.
The bridge discussion that the town of Homer has been working on for the Pine Street Bridge. They got some of the schematics. It's over 151 pages, so no, I haven't been able to go through it all yet. But bottom line is they're looking to bring it up to a 5-ton weight limit, but they have to get state approval. The reason for the 5-ton limit is not so much for the fire department, although they could get some of the smaller trucks across it, but it's just so that when the bridge does degrade over time, you know, if we just go the bare minimum, as soon as you have that first downgrade, you're back to nothing again. If we go with a 5-ton limit, then, you know, if it gets downgraded, you can still use it, and it kind of gives us a heads up. So that's the initial feed on that. More to follow. The town's been great working on that. The other thing, too, is that by doing this, they don't think it's going to affect the opportunities to get grants for the Wall Street Bridge. The Wall Street Bridge is definitely the one that we're looking at to beef up so that the fire apparatus can get across that to the buildings on the other side. I know there's been some discussion about people thinking, well, there's Albany Street Bridge. Yes, there's Albany Street Bridge, but we have to think proactively that at some point, Albany Street Bridge is going to get replaced and it's going to be down. And I've already ridden with Chief Irish on the replacement routes, and those are significant times. When you look at where River Street is and where the fire department is, and then you add on the exponential time that it would take to get to any of the homes or the seniors over there, it would be criminal if we did not have a secondary source across the Teofneoga that could handle the fire truck. So that's where we're sitting with the bridge. It's moving along. Eventually, it would be great, and we're looking forward to have both the bridges back open to vehicular traffic. That's the long-term plan. That will help with the revitalization of the east side of the village. I do want to congratulate a former mayor, Mike McDermott. Congratulations on his promotion to the state commander for New York for the American Legion. What a great job, and for him, the American Legion, and the town of Homer. And then I'd also like to congratulate our current mayor on his new job.
Yes. Congratulations.
I'll wait till he gets his picture taken.
Yeah. Also, our mayor coordinated with the DOT and brought them down to do a study and discuss numerous things. I know Chief Pittman held them hostage for a ride along.
Certainly did.
So some of the things they discussed was they are going to study the intersection of 281 and 90 by the Express Mart. As we all know, if there's a vehicle that's making a left-hand turn, you can back that traffic all the way up to the interchange. They will be looking at that and doing a study to see if maybe they can put in another lane, but they have to study that first.
Patrick?
Yes.
You're actually talking about what, split light?
Oh, a split light too?
So what it is
You'd have that turn signal.
yeah, you'll have a turn signal and the whole track, like southbound traffic,
Mm-hmm.
and it'll alternate, so it'll be a little better than it is now.
That'd be great.
Even, yeah,
Yeah,
that would be a quick fix too,
Yep.
right? Yeah.
Yeah, because that would be an easy one.
Yeah.
So they're not the other day.
Okay.
I was a hostage.
The other thing they're looking at doing is also the intersection of 11 and Cayuga, right by the fire department. We've got some issues with, especially the fire department trying to get out. So a couple ideas were thrown about, one of which was possibly a blinking yellow light that the fire department could turn to red when they needed to maneuver the trucks out. More to-
Seems like the best option.
Yeah.
would think.
Yeah.
Be a lot like the one in front of Cortland Bills.
Corporate
Exactly,
goals.
yeah.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, they said it didn't meet the standard to put an actual three
Traffic light there.
three color signal there. Yeah.
And then, as I mentioned before, Mike and the DPW guys have been going around changing out some of our old and beat up signs with new signs. We, the trustees, cannot be everywhere at once. We know the village residents see more things than we do. So if you see a sign that you think that is beaten up or turned around or facing the wrong direction, don't call the DPW. Call the village office. They'll consolidate everything. That allows our DPW guys to focus on the work that needs to be done, like they do a good job at not answering phones. If you can't get a hold of the village office, like I said, we always have the report a problem on the village website, and you can use that.
Works well.
Yeah. And that is pretty much all I have.
Okay.
Great.
Then I would entertain a motion that we enter into executive session. We've got personnel items to discuss.
Personal items based on what topic?
Salaries,
Salaries and
before we approve them for the next year, so we have to go through each.
Yep, just double checking.
I'll make the motion that we go into executive session.
I'll second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, unanimous.
Thank you, folks.
But first, quick bathroom break.